Addod Solutions. Add-on desired.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addod Solution Daily Current Affairs. I am Lokesh Penugonda. In our first article, it is stated that a new tiger sanctuary has been formally approved by the Union Ministry of Forest, Environment and Climate Change. So we'll see the new tiger sanctuary which is created yesterday. This new tiger sanctuary is named as the Ramghar Vishdhari Sanctuary. So where is this Ramghar Vishdhari Sanctuary located? It is located in the state of Rajasthan. It is stated that this new tiger sanctuary will connect the two existing tiger sanctuaries in the state. So what are these two existing tiger sanctuaries in the state of Rajasthan? First is the Ranthambore Tiger Reserve. The Ranthambore Tiger Reserve or the Tiger Sanctuary. Next is the Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve. Next is the Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve. So, if you have a question which is talking about where the Ramghar Vishdhari Sanctuary is, or where the Ranthambore or Mukundra Tiger Reserve or Tiger Sanctuary is, then the answer would be the state of Rajasthan. As we are talking about tigers in the country, you should know in which state we have the highest number of tiger population. In the state of Madhya Pradesh, we have nearly 526 tigers. Thus, it is occupying the first position in the tiger population. The second most populous tiger state is the state of Karnataka. So you should also remember these two states which have the highest tiger population in the country. Next, we have an article where it is stated that Rajasthan schools are ranked in the last when it comes to gender parity in the senior classes. So we'll see which report has highlighted this issue. The report which highlighted this issue is the UPSC Plus report. It is the Unified District Information System, Information System for Education, Plus, shortcut UPSC Plus. From the name itself, you can understand that this is a information management system that is compiling the information of all the educational institutions in the country, and it is providing various reports after surveying and analyzing the data it has got. And according to its latest report, in the state Rajasthan has been ranked the last when it comes to gender parity in the senior classes. So what are the senior classes? It is the +1 and +2, that is 11th standard and 12th standard. And it is stated that in these two classes, the Rajasthan state is doing very bad when it comes to gender parity. So we'll see what gender parity means. Gender parity is the statistical measure of number of females to the number of males. So if someone say that the gender parity is 0.87, then it means that there are 87 girls or 87 females, 200 males or 200 males. So if you see the term 0.87 as a gender parity, then it means that there are 87 females for every 100 males. And according to this report, it is stated that the gender parity in the Rajasthan for the class 11 and 12 is 0.87. That means we have less number of girls in the 11th and 12th classes when we compare to the males. So what we need to do is to promote the education of females in the state of Rajasthan. Next, we have an article where it is talking about the reshuffling of governors, the creation of a new ministry, and the proposal to expand the cabinet. So, three different items are being mentioned in this article. First, we'll see about the governor reshuffling. So, to understand the governor reshuffling, we need to have a brief background about the governors. In India, the president is the executive head of the country. Similarly, in every state and every union territory, it is the governor that is the executive head of that particular state or union territory. Governors are not elected in India, rather they are appointed by the president. There is a common misconception that the union government or the prime minister appoint the governors, but it is not true. It is the president who would appoint the governors on the basis of aid and advice given by the Council of Ministers. So the prime minister will advise the president as to whom should be appointed as a governor, and then the president would appoint him. Next, we'll talk about the tenure of the governor. The tenure of the governor ordinarily is 5 years. That means he can be removed even before the completion of this 5 years. So, you should understand that even though the tenure is 5 years, he can be removed or he can be even transferred from one state to other state or union territory by the president. So you should know that it is the president who would appoint governors, who would transfer governors, and who can even remove the governors. And in this article, it is stated that the governors of Tripura, Haryana and Himachal Pradesh have been transferred to various other states. So we have covered the first topic. Next is regarding the creation of a new ministry. Currently, we have many ministries. We have the Ministry of Education, we have the Ministry of Home Affairs, we have the Ministry of Defense, we have the Ministry of Finance, and now one more ministry is being created. This is the Ministry of Cooperation. What would be the objective or what would be the function of this new ministry? The new ministry will aim to promote the number of cooperative societies, in the country. So this will be the major objective of the newly created ministry. Whom would create the new ministry? It would be again the president who would create the new ministry after the union cabinet clearing this proposal. Next, we'll see about the cabinet expansion. As running the entire country is a difficult process, many persons would share these responsibilities. So we have the prime minister who would act as the leader of all the other ministers. So if we say that there is a minister for agriculture, then this minister for agriculture will most likely deal with agriculture and related activities. Similarly, we have the Minister of Finance, we have the Minister of Fertilizer, we have the Minister of Petroleum Products. So a particular responsibility will be given to this minister, and the maximum number of ministers that are allowed in the Indian Union is 81, because we have a provision in the constitution where it is stated that the maximum number of council of ministers in the union level is 15% of the Lok Sabha. So whatever the strength is Lok Sabha, then the 15% of it could be the maximum strength of the Council of Ministers. As the current strength of Lok Sabha is 543, the maximum strength is 81.5 or something. So the maximum number of Council of Ministers at the union level is 81. The current strength of union ministers is just 58. So nearly 23 members can be made as ministers. So to expand the cabinet, to expand the council of ministers, steps are being taken by the union government. So this is what we have in this article. Next, we have an article where several Indian leaders and several politicians have greeted the Dalai Lama on his 86th birthday. So we'll see regarding the Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama. There is a popular misconception among aspirants thinking that Dalai Lama is a name of a person, but it is not true. Dalai Lama is rather a title. Buddhists living in the Tibet region give the title Dalai Lama to their highest spiritual Buddhist leader. So, Dalai Lama is the title given to the highest spiritual leader of Tibet. The current Dalai Lama's real name is Tenzin Gyatso. So, the current Dalai Lama's real name is Tenzin Gyatso. We'll see why Dalai Lama is living in India. Dalai Lama, as we have seen, is the highest spiritual leader of Tibet. But in the year 1950, Chinese Communist forces has invaded the Tibet region and they have occupied and annexed this region, and later a rebellion was ensured. Tibetans fear the Chinese Communist because Chinese Communist does not support any rule of law. Rather, they give primacy to the state or the government, whereas Tibetans are mainly spiritual persons. So, a rebellion was ensured, and in this rebellion, China's communist forces has won. And after they won the rebellion, several Tibetans, along with their highest spiritual leader, that is the Dalai Lama, has fled to India. And from 1959 onwards, Dalai Lama, along with his followers, are living in the Dharmashala. They are living in Dharmashala, which is a city in Himachal Pradesh. And the Dalai Lama, along with his leaders, have created the government in exile, for the Tibet people, So you should remember all these facts when you're going to the examination. Next, we have an article where it is stated that Ethiopian government has resumed filling the disputed dam. So what is this article talking about? This article is talking about the under construction Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So there is a dam that is being constructed by Ethiopia, which is titled as Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. This is a under construction dam. You should know the significance of this dam. Once this dam is constructed, it would become the largest dam. It would become the largest dam in the entire African continent. This Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or the GERD, is being constructed on the Blue Nile. In the image, you can see how Blue Nile is starting from Ethiopia and how a Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is being constructed in the border area of Ethiopia and Sudan. In this area, you can see a new dam that is being proposed and constructed. So, what is the conflict regarding the construction of the dam? As you can see that this Blue Nile is one of the tributary of the Nile, which is the largest river in the entire world. So we have the Nile River, which is the largest river in the Africa and the longest river in Africa and the longest river in the entire world. And a dam is being constructed on one of its tributaries. The countries Sudan and Egypt state that if you construct a dam on Blue Nile, the amount of water we might get from this Blue Nile could be reduced, and as a result, the lives of people depending on the Nile River could be negatively impacted. So both the countries Sudan and Egypt are opposing the construction of this Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam. So what you need to remember is that the dam is being constructed on the Blue Nile, which is a tributary of River Nile, which is a north moving river. So you can see in this image how the river is moving from Ethiopia to Sudan, Egypt, and it is joining the Mediterranean Sea. So it is a north flowing river, and it is Sudan and Egypt that are opposing the construction of this grand dam by the Ethiopian authorities. Next, we have an article where the Ministry of External Affairs has stated that Indian consulates in Afghanistan would not be shut. So why is the Ministry of External Affairs giving this statement? As we have seen how the United States and its allies are leaving Afghanistan, the Taliban have been on the offensive as the forces who are supporting the Afghan government are leaving. The Afghan government forces have been weakened drastically. So Taliban were able to occupy a large portion of northern part of the Afghanistan, and there are several embassies and consulates of other countries in Afghanistan, in the northern Afghanistan. So to protect their embassies and to protect the personnel who are working in these embassies, several countries have shut down their embassies and consulates. But Indian authorities have stated that we will not close the consulates and embassies and will keep them open. So we'll see where all does Indian consulates lie in the Afghanistan. So we have a consulate in the Kandahar, we have a consulate in the Mazar region, and we have an embassy in the Kabul. So we have a embassy at Kabul and we have consulates at Kandahar and Mazar, which are two important cities in the Afghanistan. So you should remember these three cities where Indian consulates and embassies are lying. Next we have an article where the Bengal State Assembly has passed a resolution asking the Parliament to create the Legislative Council, for the state of West Bengal. So what is this Legislative Council? At the Parliament level, we have seen how there exist two houses. One is the Lok Sabha or the lower house, the other is the Rajya Sabha or the upper house. Similarly, there are some states in the India such as Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, where there are two houses, that is the Legislative Assembly and the Legislative Council. Legislative Assembly is a popularly elected house where the members would be directly elected by the people and the members would be called as MLAs. Whereas the Parliament, if it wants, can create a Legislative Council or the upper house for a state or a union territory. And this is the Legislative Council. West Bengal does not have the upper house as of now. So it is requesting the Parliament to create the Legislative Council or the upper house for that particular state. As we are talking about the creation of a Legislative Council, you should remember one important article. This is Article 169. So Article 169 should be used by the Parliament to create a Legislative Council in any state or union territory. If the state or union territory passes a resolution in its assembly. Next we have an article where it is stated that the Delhi government will provide 50,000 ex gratia to the families who have lost their family members. Last week we have seen how several petitioners have filed PILs in the Supreme Court stating that the union government should provide ex gratia to the families of the people who has lost their lives in the COVID pandemic. So what is this ex gratia? Ex gratia is the compensation the government provides when there is deaths or when persons are severely injured due to some natural or unnatural disasters. And we have seen how COVID pandemic has killed lakhs of people in the country and in the world. So to help the family members, the Delhi government has come up with a scheme called as Mukhyamantri COVID-19 Parivar Ardhik Sahayata Yojana. The name given to this scheme is Mukhyamantri COVID-19 Parivar Ardhik Sahayata Yojana. The aim is to provide 50,000 compensation or ex gratia to family members who has lost their beloved persons. And apart from this, if a family has lost a breadwinner, then this family would be given 2,500 rupees per month. That means, let's say there is a male person in a family and he is the one who is earning in the family. But this male person might have died due to COVID-19 and now that he has died, there could be no income due to this family. So to help such families who has lost the person who is the breadwinner of that family, the Delhi government is also providing 2,500 rupees per month. So this is one significant scheme the government of Delhi has launched, because no other state and union territory is providing this 50,000 rupees as ex gratia to the people who has lost their lives due to COVID-19. Next, we have an article where center government has stated that revenge tourism at hill states could be dangerous. So what do you mean by revenge tourism? Revenge tourism. Since COVID pandemic struck the country last year in the beginning of March, we have seen how there has been numerous restrictions placed on the people, and as a result of it, most people were staying in their home, and even the people who have to work, they are working by work from home. So as a result of all these restrictions, most people could not go for any vacations, they could not go to any outings. But this trend has been ended, because now that the second wave of COVID-19 has completely ended, now that many people have got vaccination, these people are going to hill stations and picnic spots in large numbers. So they're trying to make up for the time they have lost in the last 1.5 years due to COVID-19. So there have been large number of tourists in the hill stations, particularly in the Uttarakhand, Jammu and Kashmir, and even in the Himachal Pradesh. The government of the states and union territories are telling the union government that the allowing of large numbers of tourists in these areas could lead to rise in infections of COVID-19, because in most cases tourists may not be following all the COVID-19 relevant protocols. So revenge tourism is nothing but a tourism so as to make up for the time the people has lost in the last 1.5 years. So this is the new term given by various experts. And with this, we have come to the end of the session. Inform about Addod's initiative to your other aspirant friends. You can visit our website to attempt a mock test based on the daily current affairs. Thank you for watching.
Addod Solutions. Add-on Desires.